obsessed with weather and obsessed with knowing everything about weather. I'm kidding, I think. Well, I'm a meteorologist, and I know everything about weather that you could possibly think to ask about. Okay, if you know everything about weather, then talk about clouds. What about clouds? How are they made or formed? Yeah. Okay, clouds are formed when rising air cools to the point where some of the water vapor molecules gather together, and some of that invisible water vapor condenses to form visible cloud water droplets or ice crystals and form a giant cloud. Okay, so what are the types of clouds? The types of clouds are the cirrus cloud, which is a high-level cloud made of ice crystals with no precipitation. The cirrocumulus cloud, which is also a high-level cloud with ice crystals and no precipitation. There's the cirrostratus, which is a high-level cloud, and it kind of looks like a sheet of ice because you can see straight through it. And it's made of ice crystals, so there's no precipitation. And then there's the altocumulus, which is a mid-level layered cloud that has like the rippled effect, and it's generally white with some shading. Then the precipitation for that cloud is it can produce some showers. The altostratus cloud, which is a mid-level cloud, which is basically a gray sheet, and it's much thinner, and it kind of looks like glass because the sun goes straight through it. And then the precipitation for that cloud is rain, snow, sleet. Then there's the nimbostratus cloud, which is a thicker, darker, and lower base sheet. And then the precipitation is a heavier intensity of rain, snow, and sleet. And then the stratocumulus cloud is a low-level layered cloud, series of rounded rolls, which is generally white, and then it produces the precipitation of like drizzling. And then there's the stratus cloud, which is a low-level layer, which is mostly gray and referred to as the fractostratus cloud. And the precipitation for that cloud is like a drizzle. Then there's the cumulus cloud, which is a low-level cloud, and it's mainly flat on the bottom of it. And the precipitation is showers, snow, and sleet. And then the cumulonimbus cloud, which is a low-level, very large cloud that looks like a cauliflower, and it can get to as high as 16 kilometers high, and it's associated with thunderstorms, lightning, and squalls, and the precipitation is showers, snow, hail, or sleet. What are the instruments that we can use to measure different things in the weather? Okay then, well, there's a thermometer that you use to measure temperature, a barometer that is used to measure air pressure, a hygrometer that is used to measure humidity, a viscometer that is used to measure relative humidity, an anemometer that is used to measure wind speed, a wind or weather vane that is used to measure direction of the wind, a windsock that is used to measure direction of the wind for takeoffs and landings, when you're on the plane, because they help the pilots select the proper runway so that they can take off and land into the wind. And then there's our rain gauge gauge that is used to measure the amount of rainfall, and a weather balloon that is used to measure weather conditions higher in the atmosphere, like the temperature, air pressure, wind speed, and direction. Well, what are weather maps? Weather maps forecast the weather in a specific place. They show the fronts, the types of precipitation in different areas, and they show the amount of pressure, whether it is high or low in different areas. The two dots represents the rain, the two stars represent snow, two commas represent that it is drizzling, the circle with the triangle under it is rain flurries, the star with the triangle under it is the snow flurries, and then this flag-looking thing represents fog. The infinity sign represents haze, and then the giant H represents high pressure, and the L represents low pressure.
Okay, so what are the properties of air masses? Okay, that's specific. Well, properties, yeah. The many kinds of properties can be mixed and matched depending on the region the air mass is at and the general temperature of that area. The different properties that an air mass could have or not have are the continental air, maritime air, tropical air, and polar air.
What are the types of air masses that can be made? The types of air masses are based off of the temperature and the latitude of the air mass and the region it is in. The very few types of air masses that there can be are tropical maritime, which is represented by a TM, and it's warm and moist, or polar maritime, which is cold and moist, represented by PM, tropical continental, which is warm and dry, represented by TC, and polar continental, which is cold and dry, represented by PC. What happens when air masses meet? Well, when air masses meet, then a boundary is formed between them, and that boundary is a front. And fronts are mostly areas that are unsettled and stormy, and one of four types can be formed. A cold front occurs when a cold air mass replaces the warm air mass and it meets, and that area becomes very stormy. A warm front that occurs when a warm air mass overtakes cold air mass and moves over it, and the warm front is usually accompanied with rain. An occluding front can occur when a cold front overtakes a warm front and rushes upward. A stationary front occurs when a warm air front mass meets a cold air mass and no movement occurs.
And these are my citations.